Hey guys. Alright, so this project is going to entail cutting this copper propane line right here. See it on top of the water heater? I'm going to cut that pipe, flare the ends, put a valve in so that I can run my buddy heater. Now the thought on this is, being near the bathroom, if I want to just put the buddy heater on real quick, getting out of the shower, things like that, I can do that. Also with the space that's next to the water heater here, I can store the hose for the buddy heater and only use it when I need it. Alright, to do this job, the first thing we're going to have to do is cut the copper tubing. Now there's two different types of tubing cutters here. This is a small one, which I keep in the rig. Works for a lot of different things, but having this, just is easier in tight spaces compared to the C normal pipe cutters that you see. This is an old one, I've had it for years, still works good, but for this soft tubing we're going to be using this smaller one. Either one will work if you have the room. Alright, here's the layout that I'm looking to do here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the tubing. Let me use a pen. I'm going to cut the tubing and insert this T, so the two cut ends are going to come from each side, and around this is where I'll band it to the top there and secure it. After I do that, then I can attach this nipple to the gas valve. You'll see it's a 3/8 ball valve for gas, and then also add another flare adapter. Now what that'll do is allow me to come out with the gas right here to a rubber hose, which will then go to my buddy heater. You can see I'm using the buddy heater right now because it's cold in here and I have the gas turned off. So I would like to be able to use this straight off of the house's onboard propane tank. Now one thing I do recommend is, if you're not comfortable messing with propane or gas or anything like that, have a professional or somebody else that knows what they're doing help you with it. Me, I tend to do my research and learn how to do these things so that I can do them myself. I'm sure what I'm doing is not 100% the way it should be done, but with a job like this, it is pretty close. I mean, that's, I'm sure there's some technique or other way of doing it might be a little easier. I don't know, but I've done this before, so I'm doing it again. Again, seek a professional. I am not a professional. I'm showing you what I'm doing. It is not necessarily how you're supposed to do it. So, on that note, now that the safety warning, this is a flare tool. This is what allows me to put the bell end on the end of the copper tubing. You clamp the copper tubing in, and then this forms that flared end. That's why they call it a flare fitting. And you'll see on the bottom of these fixtures there is like a rounded nozzle type of angled cut on the ends. The copper flare seals to that surface. I will be testing all the joints with gas leak detector. This is an actual solvent, not solvent, but solution for testing for gas leaks. I'll also be using gas Teflon tape. If you notice, this is yellow, and that's the Teflon you're supposed to use with gas. It's thicker, and it doesn't break down from some of the compounds in the gas. So a lot of people still use the white regular Teflon, but hey, something for 25 cents more, I'll get the stuff that is recommended. Alright, well, let's get this pipe cut and get the show on the road here. Alright, here's the valve assembly, as you can see here. This will be the T that will splice into the copper tubing, and this flared end here will accept the hose going to the buddy heater. Okay, well, I removed that holder here, this little plastic piece that was screwed up. Bend it down a little bit. You gotta be very careful with soft copper. It kinks very easy. But right here is where we're gonna put the valve. All right, well, tubing is cut. I just used my little tubing cutter. Slowly spin it around, tightening the screw very slowly, taking your time. You really want to take your time so you don't produce a huge burr on the inside. I mean, I'll still ream it a little bit, but that's how I'll attach it. You have these flare nuts. Okay, these have to go on first. Okay, so here's the flare adapter. I don't know if you guys can see that with the way the light is, but this is the clamp for the flare. This creates the form. And then I have the other piece that will go in and make that. See how it's pointed? It'll make the beveled end on it. You have to make sure that you put your nuts on first because you won't be able to slide them over the belled out end. And I'll do these and attach the T. Alright, you can see the beveled end there. Let me get it in the camera frame. It's got like a bell on the end, and this slides over and we tighten it down. Now the thing is, you know, you got to clean this up with a little bit of sandpaper, just, you know, lightly clean up the end there. But the actual seal happens from this, you know, I don't know if it's a 45-degree angle or whatever it is, but it fits right on like that. I don't know if you can see that. See how the two surfaces match? And because the copper and the brass are both soft metals, when you tighten it down, it creates a nice seal. Alright, well, you can see that's how it would look. So you can see how the bell ends go right in here. Let me move that one out of the way. See, you want it to fit nice, and of course doing this one-handed is almost impossible, guys, sorry. There you go. Then when you screw this on and tighten it up, it seals. Now the one thing you want to remember is you want these ends to be straight. You don't want them bent too much. We're going into the flare nuts there. You want to keep everything pretty much straight. So I just have to prop it up and screw it down. But the valve's right here. Turn on and off, and here's the rubber hose. The hose is attached. There's the fitting right here. See this on the end there that I'm wiggling? That is for the buddy heater. The big buddy heater has this attachment. You have to buy their hose though, unfortunately. That's a proprietary connector. But now my hose will fit right alongside here. You know, maybe a piece of Velcro or something. And I can store it right in next to the water heater. When I need it, I just pull the hose out, hook it up. Alright, so now before we start screwing the straps on and securing it, we're going to use this leak detector. This is it's called Clean Find. It's a liquid leak detector, a bubbler basically, specifically for detecting gas leaks. Now the propane line is energized. It is under pressure. Before I turned it on, I shut everything off in the rig and I opened a window and left the door open just in case there was a major leak or, you know, something I didn't smell. When I turned the valve on from under the rig, it had time, you know, at least there was some air to flow through the place. So right now the door is open and the buddy heater is off. Doing things one-handed, not always the easiest way. When you're trying to film, but it's important. So just brush this on all your connections, all the way around. Don't be shy. Even the manufactured hoses, you'll see like the crimped hoses, put some on there. It's not going to hurt nothing, that's for sure. This is what it does. And you shouldn't see any bubbling. See right there, I have a tiny, tiny, tiny bubble. But any bubble is a bad bubble, because especially in a confined area like a cabinet, gas can build up pretty quickly. See it right there? So we're going to take that connector off. We're going to shut the gas back off again, take that off, clean it up with some sandpaper, and reattach it. If we have to, we'll cut the end and we'll flare another bell on there, just to make sure the rest of them all look good. So I'm happy with that, except for that one. Hey, you know something? That's why we check it, and that's why we test it with the soap here, right here. That's the bubble. I don't know if you guys can see that. That'll focus in that quickly. But all right, let me go shut the gas off. And all right, well, that's all set. And what I did was I took it off and I just put the flare tool on it and gave it a little little extra snugness on the flare tool to make sure I had the right angles there. And now it doesn't appear to be any bubbles at all. We'll turn the valve on and off a couple times, checking the hose connection, make sure everything's good. Then I'm going to secure this by the hose, this fitting here, as well as each side of the T, so that even if you pull on the hose, you're not really pulling on the copper tubing. You know, put a strain relief on it, basically. Alright, so the hose reaches out here into the living area. See, I got the curtains closed. The door's still open, I gotta close that, but we're gonna light up the buddy heater. Here's my big buddy. Now the big buddy heater has two different ways of running it. You can run it with the 1 pound cylinders, you know, on each end. But that's very expensive, very, very expensive. 10 times more than running it off of a bulk tank. But if you're going to run off of a low pressure line, which is the hose that you buy, this here, that I hooked into the tank, the main tank in the motorhome. Now by splicing into the water heater's low pressure, so I don't need the filter or the regulator or anything. And on the big buddy heaters, let me turn this so I can show you guys. You have this here where you screw your 1 pound tanks, but behind that, see right there, there's a brass nipple. That is the low pressure connect, and that's what I'm going to hook into. So let me hook in and let's see how she works. Alright, well, you can see we got the hose connected. Again, that is a proprietary fitting from Buddy Heaters. I tried to buy one, and you just can't get them without spending the 30 bucks or whatever it is for the hose. So I went ahead and bought the hose. But it allows me to hook right into the Buddy Heater. The Buddy Heater is designed for the hose. It even has a little cutout in the bottom of the propane bottle door there. And now she should light. Now I know there's a lot of air in the line. It's bleeding it a little bit. So I'm just going to hold this down for a couple minutes. Alright, well, it took a couple minutes there, but pilot is lit. You can see right there. You guys can see the blue flame through the grate there. Put it on medium, and it starts up. And then we can put it on high, start the other side. Man, you can already feel some severe heat coming off of this thing. All right, another successful project done. What I'm going to do, and see how the hose here, I can't close this door. You know, I'd probably have to latch it or something, and just let the hose stick out. But I think I'm going to cut the door and put one of those like little trap door accessory doors, you know, like the plastic ones that allow you to run the hose through the door. So all I would have to do is open it, pull the hose out. So that's the plan. But for now, we have heat. And the buddy heater uses no electricity, which is nice. I mean, if you want to put batteries in it, you can, for the little fan, but there's no need for that. High is way too hot. I very, very, very rarely ever run it on high. I usually medium or low. There you go. There's low. You'll see medium, it get brighter. High lights the other side. And gives you the full, I think it's like 18,000 BTUs or whatever it is. Success. Cool. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Talk to you later.